Is there something it would serve you to do that you just feel like you don't have the guts to? My name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine, and today's topic is guts. The way I was describing it to myself today as I blather on to myself in this life is I feel often like a small deer in a dark forest that got somehow separated from its tribe and has just been wandering around in a dark forest. And it's kind of how I would describe life, because I do believe we are at home, atonement, atonement, and communion with the divine. And the divine is love, and love is joy, and love is happiness. But when you look at our world, there's a lot of stewing and crappiness down here. It's like a lot of what's going on is just stewing around in crappiness. And I don't feel brave. I don't feel courageous. I feel very strong. I feel deeply strengthened by life's experiences. Like, thank you. I often ask, can we be complete with a strength lesson? I feel like I have 1,000 lions surrounding me through experience, enough. I am still, though, like Wood Rabbit in the Chinese zodiac. I feel more like a forest sniffer in a garden, trying to remember that I'm sitting in a garden. And although I don't necessarily, I've had a lot of people recently tell me, oh, you're so graceful, and it's not really that. You have a dark enough life, there's a point at which darkness gets delivered for the 1 trillionth time. You don't forget to laugh anymore. You just go, ha ha, all right, joke's on me and everybody else. It stops miring you in its drama. One thing I have done throughout my life that I feel grateful for, when I think of the Egyptian concept of having my soul measured against the weight of an ostrich feather, which is what Ma'at would do, the Egyptian goddess Ma'at, who was winged like the goddess Isis. So sometimes the statues you're seeing are actually of Ma'at. But she would weigh you against the weight of an ostrich feather and weigh your heart. And if your heart had been too heavy, that's how you would know where your 7 aspects of your soul, your ba, your ka, there's different components, but where they're going to go. And I've always said and felt comfortable with the weighing of Ma'at. And it's because I feel kind of like a goofy little doe-eyed deer snickle fritzing through a realm made out of explosives or something. I don't know. It hasn't always been true, but definitely when I stepped on the shamanic path, it was a great calling for me to listen to my heart, live by my heart, stop living by my mind. I'm still working on it at this time. To let the heart lead and heart, let the gut feelings, let your guts lead you where you're meant to go. And that does mean some component of having guts, because where my guts and where my heart lead me are often not where my mind want to lead me. My mind go, you can't say that. You can't be vulnerable. The strongest thing you can do if you want to be strong is not be a baller and a shot caller and OG and have a gun or whatever. It's not being, lead whatever title in XYZ-ness. It's not the size of your penis, pardon my French. The most strong and powerful, courageous thing you can do in a disheartened world is to be vulnerable, to be heart-centered, to be willing to face yourself looking like a clown and maybe winding up with a frown. It's quite brave and quite bold to step towards something that thus far has in your mind somewhere been a no. Have you had some great desire to move somewhere? Have you spent your life talking about going on some trip? Maybe now is the time to have the guts to take that action, to do the thing. What is it you talk about having in your life? What is it you say you want to see? And is there any action you can take today? And even if that action takes guts and bravery, in which you may need to be more vulnerable and heart-centered, perhaps a relationship that's ended. All relationships are eternal, but your pretending has ended. Perhaps a relationship where pretending has ended and it hurts your heart. There's an aspect of it where you feel culpable in some way, or you feel like you've done something that can't be forgiven. This past year, I have a dear friend I've known since high school, and I got the opportunity to talk with them and was just like, I want you to know, since our last interaction, I felt this. And they were like, oh my gosh, no, we totally cleaned it up. And so things are not always what they seem. Things will not always go to the dark places we can dream. And so one of the ways Heather Feather gives herself guts, feeling like a deeply vulnerable entity. I feel I'm deeply, deeply, deeply emotional, deeply sensitive. And one of the ways I have guts is I just clearly visualize the yes and the no, or the maybe, like all the answers. What are all the potentialities that could unfold if I engage in this action to make this move to some new place I've never been, but I'm feeling called to, or spirit has called me to cultivate myself in a new arena of living, or this, letting myself relax and have a vacation, or clearing up communication. What are all the probabilities of how that could unfold? Now, we have a little bit of limit in our imagination, obviously, based on what we're designing here at our school. But if I can imagine the worst answer and feel the gut punch of it and just take it in and go, and it's like, that will hurt so much I can't take it. It's like, well, that's goofy. I've experienced, much like you, many things that have shown to me my strength and my fortitude. So that's goofy. I know I can handle whatever comes. I handled the death of my mother. You know what I mean? I can handle anything because God already gave me the worst thing that it could give me. And so, that always let me know I can handle anything. But sometimes you may get the answer you don't want. I promise you, though, that it will be very difficult for you to get the answer you do want out of life if you do not take a risk, get some guts, and put some action behind what you say you want to have in your life. I've wanted to eat organic whole foods, forever. I wanted that to be all I eat. And I love, fat, salt, sugar, most addictive substances in the world, marketed ad nauseum, nonstop, to be cheap and convenient, because they contribute to the pharmaceutical industry later, in my opinion. And I am now taking more deliberate steps towards that aim. I have sometimes more than one non-organic whole foods meal each month, but it's not the end of the world. Out of 365 days, I bet I'll get 3 hundo at the end of this year, And so I'm letting it be a grace for me to gradually dance through my fears of not allowing Heather to self-destruct by just eating whatever I want. I know, very likely, like I, what it takes to have health physically in the paradigm. We don't make decisions that self-destruct. Now, I don't think true health is like 100%, like part of life is having the cake and the pizza. Eat a piece of cake, It's not going to destroy you. And we can also make daily choices that serve the bounty of our life. We can have some guts instead of telling ourselves, I want to eat healthy like that, but I just can't do it. I can't, It's like, well, can't never could. You want me to make you a plaque? Because that would match your attitude about what you got going on here, Jack. And that's maybe there's a little bit more to what's available, like coaching yourself, being kind to you, praising yourself, being your own hype man. You got this. You got this. No means no. If somebody says no, then I'm going to go and I got this, And even if it breaks your heart to move towards a dream that you want to taste and to not make it to that place, at least you will have witnessed yourself having the guts, the fortitude, the drive, the intention to move towards what is desired. Heather's had divine inspiration of a beloved, of a soulmate type of true love union in this life, and it hasn't manifested. And at 50, I started to accept, well, that might not happen in this lifetime. Maybe I'm doing that in another life, and it's shaking so hard, it's shaking my web over here. But I allowed myself to fully step into and accept that fear. And all the way up to my 50th year, I took all the risks. I told the people the things. I went and said, I feel this way about you, or, I'm drawn to you, or whatever it is. I've confessed the heart. I've kept it open. I've moved to the place when spirit had a wind at my back, and I let it unfold for me. And it's given me an abundantly interesting life. I highly recommend, 5 stars, swipe right on the life that you want, by having the guts to take that risk this day. You can always subscribe to Rare Bird Medicine on YouTube, like and comment there. Heather Feather always loves your thoughts. Amun.